Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of That Was Crazy. I'm your host, Jad Yakan, joined here with another amazing guest. He's a lover of stunts and all things film, sometimes referred to as the Swedish Stuntman, amongst other names. His name is Adrian Fisk. Adrian, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I'm super excited to dive into my small career of stunts so far, but yeah, excited to jump into it.
Awesome, man. So great to hear it. So I have a little backstory, and I've experienced some of the things that you're involved with in like film and different stunts, and I've gotten to know you over these past few months and seen some of the crazy things you've done. But I've never been able to understand because we haven't talked about it, but how you really got into like the world of being sort of an adrenaline junkie or and tying that in with film. So did you start at like a young age, or were there any influences early on in your life that kind of got you into stunts and filmmaking or anything of the sort like that?
Yeah, I definitely say it was a I just was born an adrenaline junkie, and that's kind of how it happened. So from a young age, just watching stunts, like seeing Tom Cruise do the Mission Impossible stuff and Jackie Chan stuff like that, just um, these phenomenal physical performances really inspired me to, before I even knew that I wanted to do film. It was like, oh, living on the edge and like really pushing yourself is something that I really love doing. So it kind of started like that. Like I would always jump on and off of golf carts, like just to practice running and like matching speed and stuff. And then plenty of time spent on the water, um, jumping off of docks, off of bridges, like cliff jumping, stuff like that. And so always just like pushing the envelope and seeing where I could, um, just do a stunt or do something that would make people kind of get wowed a little bit.
Awesome, dude. So have you ever thought of like, or have you ever been in a situation that kind of, you mentioned you've done things on the water and seeing like a hot spot where you could just see a stunt happening. Were there ever any influences as a young age, whether it was like jumping off of a building, like a one-story building or something like that? Or were you ever on some kind of vehicle that kind of influenced you towards making stunts happen? Or was it just kind of a thing that you kind of grew into as you grew up a little bit?
Um, I would say and this is kind of like a theme of my stunt career.
Mhm.
Um, I never really saw it as like I'm gonna put myself out there and do these stunts. It was more just this would be a fun thing to do, like riding your bike or doing this and that. Like it just came naturally with it. So um, when I was two, actually, this is a great story that my mom loves to tell. I was two. My mom was 8 months pregnant with my little sister, and I got the idea that I could fly. So I climbed up on the AC unit outside of our house, and then from there it was like another easy climb to get onto the roof. So I got onto the roof, and I was like, I can fly. I know I can fly. And my mom, she couldn't get up and stop me. My dad was off at work, and so the way she got me down, brilliant move, was she said she believed me. She said, "I know you can fly, but if you do fly, you're going to be in big trouble." And so I was like, "Ah, oh, you got me there." So I climbed down, and nobody was hurt. But that kind of started the I love I always say that you don't like truly know a house, like a home, until you've been on its roof and like explored every corner, like similar to like being inside it. I just love getting up on the roof. I think it's peaceful. People don't look up at you. It's just a great time just being up above in a precarious situation. It makes you feel a little more alive.
So has your mother been involved with your stunt career, like, throughout your life? Has she ever had like, pointed you in a direction, or has she always been kinda against stunts coming from a young age? Because I feel like from a mother's point of view, it's kind of like, my son or daughter wants to do stunts, but, like, that's kind of a scary thing for, like, a mother to, kind of see their child put themselves in this situation. But have you ever had any, sort of influence from your mother? Um,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. She definitely not a conventional mom. Very much so. Um, my mom and dad both let the kids make their own mistakes and learn their lessons from them. And I can only imagine how tough that is as a parent. So shout out to them for that. Um, but yeah, no, and kind of indirectly too, she kind of influenced me in I was 15, sophomore in high school, and my mom didn't want to get up at 7 a.m. to drive me to school. So the workaround was she decided that it would be a good idea for me to get my motorcycle license. In Texas, you can get a 250cc motorcycle when you're 15. And so we decided it's a weekend long course. And then she helped me find a bike and buy it. And that was my first vehicle. And that definitely had a big impact on how I drive today, and also kind of how I was as a person. You kind of have to live up to the motorcycle hype. But in regards to stunts, I mean, I'd maybe been riding for 3 months or something, and I was coming home from like a group study session, and I was already running late, so I was to get home, and so I was riding too fast, dipped it a little too low around a corner, and there was a truck sticking out just a little too far out of his lane. He didn't hit me. I like swerved up out of the way, but so I kind of counter steered, and so it moved me out of the way, but then it also kicked the bike back. I like over corrected my steering, and then I just got the speed wobbles, and the bike kicked out from under me. I was going 50 miles an hour, and just tumbled. I mean, I was wearing like synthetic and helmet and gloves, and I had a backpack on and jeans. Um, and I wish I still had the wallet that was in my back pocket, because I slid and tumbled and then slid some more. And I remember looking up and seeing my bike and sparks flying off of it as it was sliding. It would have been an awesome shot. And then I was like, oh, I can stand up, but nope, tumbled a little more. And when I stopped sliding, I pulled out my wallet, and it was torn. My jeans, the jean pocket was torn through. One half of my wallet was torn through, and half of the bills in my wallet were torn in half. So it made it through a couple of layers of protection.
oh
Um,
gosh.
so that was crazy. I mean, it was I was definitely shell shocked after, and I was really close to home, and that's where all the accidents happen.
Mm.
But I learned something, and my mom, I told her, I said, Mom, I learned something from this crash, and she's expecting to hear, oh, I'm going to go slower, I'm going to drive more carefully, this and that. And I said, Mom, I learned something. I think I could be a stuntman. I think I want to be a stuntman. And oh no, she lost her mind.
Oh, no,
Um,
she was here and
yeah, but I did learn to be more careful after it too. So yeah, definitely crazy of her to let me get back on a motorcycle after I was fine, like no injuries, just some road rash, but like a potentially life-threatening crash.
So it sounds like you have probably become a bit familiar with fails or falls and things that are when things kind of don't go wrong. But did that ever has that ever, like, stopped you from going into certain situations, or did it kind of take you on another path and, like, kinda your mindset with other stunts?
Um, yeah, definitely failing, falling, that's all part of it. But it's also something that I'm very aware of. I call myself dumb, not stupid,
Mhm.
and it's because the things that I do don't seem out of the realm of possibilities. It's like, well, if you're riding a bike, you might as well, jump that ramp. It's just part of it. But if it's like, well, if you're riding that bike, you might as well, you know, go off a jump that's too big for you, or do something that's too crazy for you. It I never do things that seem too far fetched for myself. Um, and so I think that kind of goes back to just starting off as an adrenaline junkie. But definitely, there's definitely a boundary that you push through anytime you do something for the first time. Like, I remember all of my firsts, like doing a front flip from 15 feet into water, doing a backflip, doing a gainer, doing one and a half. Um, I mean, I can like pinpoint my emotion and where I was on all of those, and it really comes down to like a moment of like very I'm always in a very calm state before I do a stunt. And then I think, what's the worst that could happen? What could go the most wrong? And most of the time, it's just you belly flop and it hurts a little bit, and then you correct the next time you try. Um, so that's definitely something I've learned. Like doing my first gainer, it was very scary. You have to run forward and throw yourself backward, and so I was doing it off of a boat dock, and 15 feet up, and I thought, what can happen? I over rotate, I under rotate, but I know it's deep enough. I know that there are people nearby in case I get severely hurt somehow. So I just sent it, and I rotated way too slow, completely miscalculated, and basically did a back dive. So I only made it halfway around before I hit the water,
Okay.
and it didn't hurt, and I was okay, but it was just horrifying because as soon as I jumped, I knew that I jumped too slow. Um, so and after that, the second time, it was so much easier. It was like, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do. So I really think it's kind of translated to my life too, like just in the learning process, and like how you um, move forward from failure or from injury. Um, so that's kind of some life advice. Just take the leap.
I love hearing stories of the sort like that, especially with your the stunt advice you can give. So, have most of the stunts you've done have they mainly been located in America, or have you ever gone overseas? Because being the Swedish stuntman, you're of Swedish descent.
Funny you would ask. I do. My stunts seem to be like localized. I grew up on Lake Houston, so plenty of bridges and trees and stuff to jump off of there. But then in Sweden, um, my dad is from there. I have a bunch of family there, and so my grandpa, he lives out in the backwoods, like middle of nowhere, and he just has some land. And so this is where the driving part of being a stuntman comes in. It just if he wouldn't have lived there, then I probably would not have learned to drive at such a young age, and just kind of fulfilled that aspect of, there's many different practices in being a stuntman. But so yeah, I'm just super lucky that he lives out middle of nowhere, and we would just go out, and he normally has like an old car or two. um and when I say me, it's me and my cousin who's 3 years younger than me. And I would ride a stick shift in the backwoods of Sweden, and just driving as fast as we could around corners, around dirt roads, drifting, driving rally, and just having a blast doing that. And actually, there's a it's a really funny story. One time we got there because I would we would my family would go visit in the summer, and so my cousin and I got to his house, and none of the cars that he had would start or would drive, and so we we were like, well, we need a car for the weekend. We need something to entertain ourselves. And so he said, okay, come with me, come with me. So we went down to the, I don't know, some of his neighbors, I guess, who own like a scrap yard, and we bought a functioning street legal car, got the pinks for $60.
Oh my, 60.
And it was a junker. I mean, it was trash, but like that's, I mean, what do you like, that's a day at the amusement park,
Yeah.
and arguably driving a car into the ground is more fun. So we drove that thing for 8 hours, and then the whole engine block dropped out of the bottom. So those are some great memories. And then also some bridge jumps and stuff in Sweden, but really just like taking the opportunities. I everywhere that I am, I always look and see, oh, what's something that I could do here? What's a fun stunt or jump or anything like that?
Okay. So on the topic, you mentioned bridge jumps and topics of the sort like that. So what would you say is like your most memorable, if not just one great bridge jump that you've done? And if if that was in Sweden or if that was here in America, just the location, like give us the setting, just kind of run us through like your most memorable or crazy bridge jump.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely one that stands out among all of them. It's actually on YouTube. It's called "Jump Off Car Off Bridge." Feel free to look it up. And it kind of combines everything. My mom was there supporting me. It was a combination of some things, and like the title suggests, I got on top of a car that was on a bridge and jumped off of it while it was driving into water. And so it originated with, um, I've I've jumped off of like boats and jet skis just into water, fallen off of tubes and stuff like that. Um, and then I've also ridden on top of cars. That's not a big deal. Um, and I've jumped off of bridges. So like, what could I do to combine and make like a mega stunt, like a super epic something?
Mhm.
Um, and So I'd been talking about this for quite a while, and uh, it actually started to come about because, um, long backstory to it. There's the I was in band in college and band in high school, and so our band was taking a trip to New York for spring break, and there were four-person rooms, and we could decide who we were rooming with. But my friend group had five people in it,
Oh,
so we were like, how are we going to fit all five of us, or what are we going to do to narrow it down to four? So we all decided it would be fair to come up with a series of challenges, that we would present. We would perform it first, and then the other people would perform them after. And at the end of a round, we would see who had the least points, and they were out of the room.
mm,
So we all agreed that that was fair, and we all came up with some challenges. Some involved, eating a ghost pepper, just doing crazy stuff like that. And so mine, of course, I'd been talking it up for a year or two, and I thought, well, nobody will follow this. So it was decided well before somebody else dropped out. We went on the trip. It was a great time. Four of us stayed in a room, but I thought I can't leave for college without having performed my magnum opus of jumping off the car off the bridge. So literally the day before I left for college, I got my friends together. I got one of my friends has a drone. He filmed it, set up some cameras on my car, and prepared. It was a very prepared stunt. Like, people look at it and it's like so much could have gone wrong. And yes, but I went out and checked the depth of the water. I knew, where my jumping point was. I had two signs that I had to jump in between to make sure that I landed in the deepest part of the water. I had my friend down in the water ready to pick me up. Um, we had another car watching on each side of the bridge, just to make sure we went with the least amount of traffic. Um, it's I'm dumb, but I'm not stupid. It was very well orchestrated. Um, and so yeah, so got it set up and just decided to go for it. And it stands out not only because it's a pretty epic stunt for like an amateur stuntman's um, standards, but also because it was definitely the dumbest moment of my life. I remember being on the car about to jump and just thinking, I can I we can just circle back around. Let's not do it this time. I was too afraid. But then I thought, no, 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 this is my chance. And I just hit that calm. And the worst thing that could happen this time was pretty bad. I could fall and just die on the concrete, I guess. Um, but I was very confident in my own abilities, and I kind of had to be in order to do it. If I thought I couldn't, then I don't think it would have happened. So all the preparation and all the pressure led me to it, and I just leaped, just took that jump, and it went off perfectly. It's a beautiful entry. I hit like the perfect angle so that I didn't belly flop or like get water up my nose or anything. I mean, it was perfect. I actually hurt myself sitting down for dinner afterwards more. I banged my knee on the table and had a little sore knee for a few days. But jumping off the car off a bridge, that was definitely most memorable stunt, biggest stunt I've done. And yeah, I'm looking to follow it up maybe with some other things.
You're definitely gonna have to let me know whenever you try and top that, because that that is something I don't think I would do. It sounds like definitely a crazy experience, but I'm sure your adrenaline was pumping that whole time right before you were going on. Have you ever, so with adrenaline being a topic and an aspect in stunt making and doing different stunts, have you ever had to apply that to different areas of your life? Like, would you ever consider sports? Like, I don't know if you were big on sports when you were younger or anything of the sort like that, but did that kind of carry over into different aspects of your life? Just the adrenaline of doing stunts?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's kind of like it's a lifestyle to be an adrenaline junkie and not to have a profession where you get an outlet of that. So I think I was always looking for just ways to to be really emotionally involved in something, um, which is like marching band. Like I love every second of performing on a field because the pressure is super high, but the
Right.
preparation is also there. So that's definitely part of it. Recently, kind of going back to cars in Sweden, we would work on the cars and try and get them working. And if they weren't, then too bad. They're old. But I recently got into jet ski racing, actually, which definitely brings in
Okay.
adrenaline and sport. Um, and so with that, I aim to race more vintage jet skis. So
Mhm.
older, and I bought an old stand-up jet ski, 750 SX, and fixed it up with my dad. Got it working properly, and then entered it into a race just as an amateur. And it was one of the most physically demanding things I've ever done. I think we did 7 laps, um, and my ski wasn't actually running perfect at the time, so made it even harder. But oh my goodness, the adrenaline rush and just performing an athletic activity, a sport, um, just definitely is something that I know I'm going to stick with. And a lot of people, a lot of the old classic racers, used to be motocross racers, and then they switched over to jet skis because the falls are so much more forgiving.
Mhm.
And I think when you think about longevity, like that's just something that you have to start taking into account. So um, yeah, definitely, I've done less stunts in the last year or two, um, probably circumstantially, but also because I have this new outlet. Every time I hop on a jet ski, it's very um, focused, and I'm always just going all out and just enjoying that adrenaline rush.
Yeah. I love hearing that. I also enjoy how seeing you prep, like, because I've seen you have shown me some stunts recently and worked on. We've also started creating our own little stunt action sequence, and I've also worked with you on a short film while we were here in New York, and I just like seeing how the translation of preparation and the follow through of executing everything you prepped for. I like seeing that translation to your stunts, to jet ski racing, and other aspects of your life. And I really enjoyed working with you on that film as well. Um, but are there any other kind of films or projects you've worked on that you're kind of proud of or have taken that translation of preparation and execution into?
Yeah, thank you. That's I loved working on it with you and all the crew. I mean, you guys were amazing.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, it's definitely kind of, I guess, like a holistic approach that I take in my life of being the most prepared so that any situation you can make the most out of it. Because if you're always scrambling, if you're always behind, then you're always going to be behind. So it kind of started with my last film in high school, and that's not when I got started, but senior year, um, I had this great idea. It was going to be like an action adventure movie about the last American flag. Like we'd been invaded and this and that.
Mhm.
And then so it's taking place on the lake. And so we could use boats and jet skis and stuff, just kind of, using what we had and making it pretty unique. Um, and so my friend and I wrote the script. We wrote a couple, prepped very well, and big shout out to him, Riley. Couldn't do anything without my amazing AD. But we got everybody together. We were ready to shoot. We had shot list planned out. We had everything ready to go, and we thought so. It only had to be a 7 minute. It was only planned to be a 7 minute
Mhm.
film, and we thought, yeah, we can get this done in one day. And we had about 5 locations on the lake, 5 different scenes to film, um, with some stunts, with some action. Definitely not feasible in a one day. So it was over Christmas break, and we went out. We didn't get to the first island we needed to be at until the middle of the day, and so Riley and I just buckled down. We said, okay, we'll just film. Let's just do it. Let's do everything we can today, and then if we need to come back tomorrow, we will. And yeah, lo and behold, we scrapped everything from the first day. We said this is not. We got back at sunset, after sunset, and we told the cast and crew. We said, hey guys, we completely mismanaged, completely misplanned this. I hope you had fun. And if you're willing to, we would love to have you all back for the next 5 days, was our new prediction. And That's how long it took. We were out. I think we actually, not including the first day, we had 6 days, and one was kind of a smaller day. Um, so that really opened my eyes to preparation, but not even just that. Being prepared means you're gonna accomplish what you want to completely. You definitely have to learn how to roll with things and change on the go, and it all kind of ties in. Like if you're doing a stunt and you feel something going wrong, you have to know when it's time to bail, when it's time to minimize the impact, or minimize how much pain you're gonna experience because of it. So yeah, it all kind of ties in like that, and that's just kind of how I live. And always they say, live life on the edge, because that's where the view is best.
Perfect, man. Those are some good words of wisdom, and I'm sure everyone can apply that to all different aspects of your life, especially all those stunt people looking out there, getting some guidance from our man Adrian here. Well, Adrian, thank you so much for being on this episode. I really loved and enjoyed hearing all those stories of all your film production projects and your different stunts. It was a really great time, and I really enjoyed hearing those.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I love being here and talking about it, and I don't know, hopefully inspiring some people to be the next generation and go out and do great things.
Sounds great, man. I'm sure you are doing just that. It's great to hear from you, bro. Thank you all for tuning into this episode. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Thanks. See ya.